Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Patricia Monna, Intuitive Consulting. Today I have the lovely Susan Reynolds back with me again to test the energies, both through Karmic Astrology with Susan and remote viewing and psychic sensing with me. So welcome back, Susan. Thanks so much for taking the time to do this with me.
I love being here. It's always so much fun to see how we get to the same place from two different directions.
Absolutely. And I was just mentioning before we clicked on for this recording how I was watching our 2024 predictions for 2025, what we recorded last, I think it was December 30th, 2024 when we recorded it. Susan, you're really good. Really, really, really good. So I've sent you the recording. Definitely watch it. Definitely watch it. You guys, it was pretty on point with what we both had to say. So yeah, watch that again so that we can maybe take some snippets and put it into our next class, which will be on December 31st. On New Year's Eve, we are going to have our prediction talk with Susan and myself as we tune into the whole energies of 2026, what's going to be taking place over the whole year. Now, that is going to be a private and interactive class so that Susan and I and anyone else who joins us can speak our truth. No, your camera won't be on, but ours will be, and we will have an interactive chat where you can ask us anything about your own life, about what's coming up, happening in your world. And we will tackle the rest of it and see what's going on for 2026.
I'll tell you something I noticed when we did our talk last year was that we were taking questions, and some of those questions were about something I'd never thought about, never considered, never gave a thought to. And as soon as I asked that question, the answer would come into my mind, like, oh, this is how that's going to happen, or this is what we need to look at. And I don't do that much of that. So that was really fun for me to sort of be in that kind of moment. So yes, so Patricia and I do this at the end of December. Bring your questions, because who knows what's going to come up in terms of the answers.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. And like I said, it's really cool to be able to rewind and watch it and see what came to pass. Absolutely. So yeah, we're doing it again. So sign up through my website, which is my name, patriciamona.com, and it is the 2026 predictions class. Definitely we want to see you guys there. But today we have the predictions for the month ahead, for the month of December 2025. And I gotta say, it's interesting, the energy of this past month in November. It was a little bit chaotic. It was a little bit on the heavy side. And I'm feeling, I think, that, or I feel that in December it will begin to lift where we can breathe and get back into the holiday spirit. It does feel to me like around the middle of the month. So maybe you can tell me astrologically because I know nothing about astrology, but where I started to feel the begin to shift again, where we are like, I can breathe, is about the middle of December. And I gotta say, there is a lot of changes that are going to be coming up. I think that December is the beginning of a very pivotal time because I think with 2026, right around the corner, we're already sitting in the energy of this year, right? It's kind of like the full moon. We feel it 3 days before, some even more so, and 3 days after. It's a vibe that's coming in. And so one of the things that I noticed when I did my tune in was spirit is calling loud and clear. One of the things that I saw was that the veil is not only has it become, thin in the last little while, it's super thin with the month ahead. And so one of the things that I saw was you're going to have a lot more vivid dreams, a lot more, if you've ever, had sleep paralysis, it can be quite scary. And that is one of the things that I picked up on. And it's because what I saw is there's going to be this influx of energy and it meets you where you're at, right? Both spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally on that 3D level. But it also meets you where you're at in the fourth dimension. When you're going to sleep and you're stepping into that dream state, you can also attract that which you are, right? Or you literally attract it at the speed of thought. So if there's one little piece of advice that I need to give you guys, say your prayers, say your prayer of protection, bubble up before you go to sleep, because it just feels like if you're going to bed with anger in your heart or heaviness, in your field of energy, it'll be very, very, very easy to be able to attract that in other dimensions that you go into unknowingly, unbeknownst to you, when you fall asleep. Where are you going to land? Is it going to be a wonderful dream, a scary one? Is it going to be sleep paralysis? But when we bubble up and, have that layer of protection, chances are it's going to be a wonderful, restful sleep. So the veil is thin, you guys. Did that show up in anywhere on astrology wise?
I don't know if it showed up in that way, the way that you're talking about it. I will say, if you go back to July, in one of our talks, I was talking about the fact something shifted this
Mhm.
past summer and time started to speed up. So when you start to feel like everything's going so fast or happening so quickly, that's not just a perception, that's reality.
Mhm.
Our time and our perception of time has changed because it has started to speed up. November, and I was just talking to Patricia about this, has been one of the most challenging months of my life. It has been really challenging with some crises at home with the family and some professional stuff going on I didn't like. And it's just been a tough month. But when I look around at my friends and family, they're having tough months too.
Yeah.
One friend just had her father die. Another friend was telling me her hot water heater exploded and it put water all over everything. And they have to replace all their floors. And somebody else got sick and ended up in the hospital. And everybody I talk to seems to be having all these energies sort of come up to the surface that have been bubbling underneath. And I
Mhm.
think that's part of that transparency. There's not that big wall anymore, kind of thing.
Yes.
November has been a tough month for a lot of people because we had so much energy stuck. In November, Mercury is retrograde, Jupiter's retrograde, Saturn's retrograde, Neptune's
Right.
retrograde. It's like everything is stuck. And so it can't move freely. And what happens is it kind of explodes out. And this traumatic events can happen, or upsetting events can happen because the energy has no way to flow smoothly. I'll tell you something that I can laugh about now, but Mercury just went direct on the 29th of November. So, literally just a few days ago or a couple of days ago, just went direct again.
Mhm.
And so I was busy dealing with this crisis in the family. And my web company that I've been working with for months and months to try to get this new website up decided all on their own that, okay, it's good to go. We're going to launch it. We're going to put it live. And they don't ask me. They don't touch base with me. They don't inform me of what they're doing.
Oh no.
They just go ahead and put it out there. And then they send me a text message like, Susan, your new website is up. Like, aren't you happy? And I'm like, no, I'm not happy. I wanted this to launch on January 1st. And I'm like, what astrologer? And here's the humor. Worth their salt is going to launch a new website when Mercury is retrograde.
Oh, Susan.
You have to laugh. You have to see the humor.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
they're gonna be like,
dear.
what kind of astrologer is she? You may not
Oh,
see the humor in this, but
I
it's
see that.
astrology
That
humor.
is
Trust me.
awesome.
This is hysterical. So November was very tough. Meetings got missed, appointments got missed, things got rescheduled, things that were supposed to happen didn't happen, and things that were supposed to happen happened the wrong way. And so November has been a tough month for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, December is going to be a little bit easier because this month we start moving away from the nadir, the very, very bottom of everything. We slowly start to climb back up again.
When is that?
So,
When is
right now in December, Mercury has turned direct,
okay.
which is nice because you want Mercury direct when it's the holidays because we're shopping and buying, and you don't want to buy a gift for somebody and you get home and you lost the receipt, or this wasn't what I ordered through the mail, or it doesn't work and the batteries are bad, or you don't want that kind of upset when you already might be a little stressed with shopping and wrapping and cooking and planning. And December can be a bit busy for a lot of people, a lot of stuff
Yeah.
going on. So that's the good news. Mercury is direct. You can
Right.
shop with confidence and you should get your stuff, you know? The
Nice.
other piece of good news that I love about December is that Neptune is also going to turn direct on December 10th.
Oh, I wonder
Yeah,
if that's maybe what I'm feeling around the 15th of the month that gets easier and
it gets
lighter.
easier.
Okay,
It gets
interesting.
easier. It gets lighter. Yes, you're
Yeah.
already picking this up. Especially Neptune is the planet that rules our spiritual life. In whatever way we are fed spiritually, that is what Neptune rules.
So that
Now,
would be the dream state.
yes,
Because I'm
because
just trying to
Neptune
think,
rules
why
our
did I see that?
dreams.
Because like even people who are usually zonked right out, they're gonna have like sleep paralysis or remembering their dreams or have deja vu going, "Oh, I think I dreamt that last night." It just feels like it's right on the surface there. That's interesting. Okay, sorry. I'm just my
No,
little,
no,
putting it
me
together.
either. That's exactly. Neptune rules our dreams. It
Uh,
rules our spiritual life. It rules all things woo woo.
okay, that
So
makes
it rules readings. You
mhm.
may suddenly decide you want to get a gift certificate from Patricia I for a gift for somebody. You know, by God, you're going to make your father-in-law woo woo no matter what. If you won't go to that reading, you're going to give him a gift certificate for one. We start to want to feel connected to something higher, something more meaningful. And sometimes, especially with Neptune being retrograde, we can feel blocked. We all go through those times when God's not listening and divine energies are on vacation. And, there's that, book that came out many years ago, hello, God, it's me, Margaret, like we want somebody to be listening.
Yeah.
And when Neptune is retrograde, we sometimes feel cut off or alone, or we have to work harder. For professionals like Patricia or I, sometimes we have to work harder in the reading to get the kind of information we want for our client because it's a little slower. We have to go a little deeper, kind of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
on the 10th of December, Neptune opens up, it gets its crap together and starts to move. So we start to feel more connected and we can start to feel a little more peaceful, a little more like, oh, we're going to get through this, or I'm not alone. It's a wonderful time to start feeling your guides speaking to you. And they may do that through a dream, just like what you said, Patricia, or they may do that in other ways. You know, sometimes guides are very quiet and subtle, and sometimes they scream in your ear. You
Yeah.
know, it, we don't always get to be in charge of that kind of relationship,
Yeah.
which for most westernized people is very frustrating because we think we should be able to be in charge of that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I love that this is opening up and it's going to stay direct for months. So as we move through the rest of December and move into 26, we're much more conscious of being spiritual beings that are having a physical life. And we're able to connect with that. Neptune is also a planet that's very creative. So we are drawn to the cultural arts, music, art, dance, writing, whatever evokes a creative spirit. You may want to go see the Nutcracker and go to the ballet, even if you can't dance a step or whatever. Those creative moments, you may be moved to tears by a piece of music. You know, I don't know what it's like in Canada, but in the United States, they have already started blasting Christmas music
Oh
in
yeah.
every store, everywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and it's like Jingle Bell Rock and stuff you can't get out of your head, So,
I think they do that on purpose.
yeah,
Hmm.
but it's a wonderful time to explore the arts and being moved by a piece of music. You may get a new idea to write a book or submit a story. The creative juices start flowing.
Hmm.
So if any of you have writer's block or you feel like you're stuck in your creative career, you're going to notice this difference. You're going to notice this energy opening up and, oh, that road just got wider that was blocked before. So I love this. I'm super excited about this for December. 10 more days, maybe 11, and you're going to start to notice it. You're already picking it up, Patricia.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I can definitely, well, I can feel it coming. I can definitely feel it coming. The other thing that I saw too is more people being called than ever, being called to go within, being called back to spirit, to finally ask themselves, what am I here for? Get those creative juices flowing, creator, right? When we get into alignment with that divine flow, all of a sudden we start to hear the creative ideas. They flow very effortlessly, right? They flow through us and to us when we align with that field of energy. The other thing that I saw too, for this is part of, what I saw in 2026, but again, we have been through so many different shifts since 2020. 5 years has gone by since everything changed, right? And it did. It changed. It changed people, and even if our reality looks the same, it changed people, good, bad, and different. But we're not the same as we were in 2019, right? Before all of this went down. Well, in 2026, it's shifting again, but it's definitely more of an inner shift than an outer shift. A call back in, almost like to connect with home, or a call from home. The other thing that I wrote down, speaking of calls from home, was that I wrote this down, that the veil is so thin that it will be caught on camera. So for people who are taking family holiday photos, their deceased loved ones join around the table very, very easily. All you got to do is think them in, and they are right there. And so the veil is so thin that just because we can't see it with our human eyes doesn't mean that cameras or won't see it. So, and it's funny because in our prediction video from 2024 that I was just watching, constantly orbs flying all over my studio, and I'm like, oh, there's another orb, and then someone else in the audience, oh, I saw another one, and you saw one, and it was just really cool. Well, I think that it's a combination of our earthly vibrations raising to these cosmic energies that are coming in, and this is the way AI or cameras, whatever, will be able to see it way easier. So check your film, check your family photos. Definitely, if you've got everyone around the tree and you're seeing an orb going like this around your family where they should have been standing, I'm telling you, I don't just think it's dust. I definitely feel that there will be a lot more visitations this Christmas. So I'd love to hear your feedback on that. Honestly, wait until the holidays are over, you guys, and tell me what you saw. Did you see anything in your photos? It'll be interesting because that's what they said. So someone's going to see them.
When a
Um,
friend of mine's husband passed, it was Christmas. He had passed like 2 or 3 months beforehand.
yeah.
And it was Christmas, and we were sitting in her living room, and she had her Christmas tree up, and the lights started flickering on and off. And so she said, "Hey, Steve, you can come. We know you're here. Thanks for visiting, but please leave the
Oh,
lights on." And the lights stopped. That was like her husband's way of saying, "Hi, I'm here. I'm still
yeah.
part of Christmas." So many times when spirit, and I'm not a medium, Patricia, you're much better at this, but many times spirit communicates through something electronic.
Mm-hmm.
Lights will go on and off, light bulbs will explode, different things will start to happen with electronic things. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm calling what we're moving into in December and going into 26 a spiritual awakening for the world, not just for Canada, the United States, not just for the people watches, but the world. Because Neptune, this planet that is all about our spiritual selves,
Mm-hmm.
it's now in Aries, or it hasn't been for decades, 82, 84 years ago. So as it moves into this Aries energy, Aries is the very first sign of the zodiac, and it is about new beginnings. Aries likes to be first, it likes to start things. So as this planet of spiritual understanding goes into this planet of like a new, fresh energy, I think we're going to see a spiritual awakening within many, many people all over the world, in our countries, in our families, the people who poo-pooed you and all that nonsense that you believe in, they're going to come and they're going to say, what's the name of that woman you watch? Or, who's that person you got a reading from? Or now, what's this about you being a Taurus? They're
Yeah.
going to start asking questions. I don't think they're going to be poo-pooing this, as much as they have, because people are going to want answers. They're going to start to look for churches, synagogues, different
Yes.
centers, but they're also going to do exactly what you said, Patricia. They're going to turn within.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a spiritual awakening within.
I
And I'm
1000.
excited about that.
I agree. And here's the other thing. If you even look at, for example, with Charlie Kirk, that started a movement of a whole lot of people going back to church, right? Like there's been a lot this year, the good, the bad, the all of it. But if you think about even as an example, that young man was a vessel speaking his truth, right? And it created waves all over the world. And I watched all these videos after of people saying, yeah, I'm going back to church, I'm going back to church. And it's like, what is it going to take for us to realize that we are so much more than this 3D reality? What is it going to take? And I say that, but here's the thing. When I first realized that I was psychic, my reality was, I didn't realize that my reality was any different than anybody else's. I thought, to me, it was common sense, right? I thought that everybody could see this stuff. And I just, I think that the more people start to look within, I can hear two different things that they're trying to have me say next. But anyways, let me just hang on to this idea, you guys. Um, I think that the more that people go within, the more they're going to naturally be able to vibrate with that spiritual energy, that transformational light, right? And the more you do, the more you're going to be able to see through this veil that is very, very thin right now. And I think that it is a natural pull, it's a natural calling, right? And it sometimes it does take that mystical experience that, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. That's what I was going to say. With my job, and I'm sure you too with your job, we float in the realm of magic every single day. We get to see the miraculous with the work that we do. And I just wish more people would be open to the miraculous, because the minute that you are, you're allowing that miraculous energy to take place and you're calling it in. The more that you're open to it, the more you're even curious about the miraculous or spirituality, the more it will present itself to you in ways where you'll know you're on the right path. You'll know that something higher is guiding you. And I think that's so super important going into 2026. I think it was super important going into 2020. But over these next few years, if you haven't felt that calling, you might be part of this next wave of people who are waking up in 2026. And so just be open to it. Put it out there to your angels. If I've got angels, I don't know, I want to see a pink elephant within the next 72 hours. And then start looking, because you'll be shocked at how many pink elephants all of a sudden you'll start to see, because you've called it into your reality. And I just think that more and more people are going to experience that, especially as we go into 2026, because there's something transformational about the time of 2025 to 2032. That time chunk,
Yes,
that seven
I
years.
agree 100%.
Oh yeah, our reality is not going to be the same. And I truly feel that the light wins every single time. And so I think that we've got a lot to look forward to over these next 7 years. Um, but I also think there's a lot of work to do, both personally, professionally, and in our reality when we go about our day, there's a lot that still needs to shift. So it's very important that we exude that energy and be the change we want to see.
I will say we often, and I'm guilty of this as well, have a certain idea in our mind of how we're going to connect with spirit, or how our guides are going to talk to us, or how we're going to see something or pick up information. And it's often completely different than what is really going to happen. So I agree with Patricia about being open instead of saying, well, this didn't happen, so nothing happened. It's years ago, this is like many, many years ago. I was part of a spiritual study group, and we met every week, and it was a lovely group of women. And one of the women was very intuitive, and she would talk about these visions she had. And I was like, oh, I want to have a vision too. And I wish I could see the stuff that Mary sees. And it took me a year to figure out that when she talked about a vision, I'm like, oh, she's talking about those pictures I see in my head. Like I had no clue. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So don't negate what may seem normal to you.
Yeah.
We want jazzy stuff, cue the fog and, you know, maybe a being coming down. And
Hmm.
it doesn't usually happen that way. So be open and be receptive to however spirit wants to speak to you,
Hmm.
because it's a relationship we do not usually get to be in charge of.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. And sometimes that is very frustrating. But if we start to open up to what we're supposed to hear, see, and understand instead of doing it on our terms,
Hmm.
our life expands and gets so much better and so much easier.
Absolutely.
And life is hard enough. So I always say take every opportunity to make your life as easy as possible. And with this Neptune energy coming in, Patricia and I were on the same page about this. That veil is when you said it's getting thinner, the word I heard is translucent.
Yes.
Like it's not even almost solid anymore. It's
Yeah.
like we're seeing right through it. So we are going to see all kinds of spiritual awakenings, whether that's in formal religion or more, what I would say, non-traditional. We're going to see this in December, especially it's the Christmas season.
Mm.
We're going to see a lot of things about going back to church and celebrating the spirit of what Christmas is supposed to be about instead of the buying and the, you know, commercialism of this. We're going to see more of that because people are going to feel this new energy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it.
Yeah. It's a
I
calling.
know you are too.
Definitely, definitely a calling. Well, it's stuff that I've just been waiting for humanity to wake up for so long that I just want to scream it from the mountaintops. You guys, heaven is for real. It really is. This stuff is for real. And I've just had so many different circumstances. Oh, I'll tell you another one, Susan, that, just warms my heart. Big Christmas present for me and the family before Christmas. So I've been working on a missing person case for about 3.5 years. He went missing. And when the parents called me into it, they send me a picture of the missing person and just tell me where he went missing from. I can track and trace him from there. The most recent picture of who he is, the person I'm searching for. Names don't even matter. It's not the name, it's the picture. I'm very visual. And then tell me exactly where he went missing from so I can track and trace him forward instead of backwards, right? To see what happened 5 years ago gives me a reference point on where to start. So, anyways, I looked into it, and it was the first time in a long time that I was able to tell the family, no, I believe your son is still alive. He's got some mental health crisis that he's going through. But no, he'll call you when he's ready. He's out there. He'll call you when he's ready. And throughout those years, his mom had called me a few times. Are you sure, Patricia? Are you sure? They had other people looking into it where they were saying complete opposite of what I was saying. But every time I looked at that picture, I was like, no, I can still feel him on this earth. I can feel his energy. And I told her where he was or where he would be. And lo and behold, he called. Finally called. He finally called. And Susan, it's so rare that I get a chance to tell a family that their loved one is alive because usually by the time I'm called in, I'm a last resort. I'm not the first thing that the police think of or necessarily the families even think of because they got to be open to it. Usually I come highly recommended by someone that they know or someone within the force that has worked with me before. And so she wrote me a beautiful testimonial. And I wanted to share that little gift because it's things like that, that renew faith in someone, that yes, there is something, that I'm tuning into energetically, right down to where he was. He was exactly where he said he was. So it's just interesting, to watch someone go from not necessarily believing in this stuff to going and writing me a testimonial. It was pretty neat. So I wanted to share that with you.
It's lots of times, I think for both of us, we see a client, and of course we do our very best.
Hmm.
We're pouring out our heart, we're picking up everything we can, we're being as honest and truthful with the person as we can. And then they thank us and then they leave. And we never know. Did
Yeah.
that make any difference? Was I right? Was I wrong?
Yeah.
Did they laugh? Did they cry? We don't always ever know. And
Mm.
when you get something like that and you realize what I'm doing made a difference to somebody, it uplifts you in ways you can't even imagine.
It really did.
And so I'm really, really glad that he is alive
Yeah, me too.
and that she took the time to reach out to you and to
Yes.
let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Excellent, excellent ending to a mother's anguish. So yeah, I'm glad that I was able to do that. And you guys, I do that all completely free of charge. I've never charged a cent for my missing person cases. So I do them whenever I can. It's not that I'm doing them all the time, but in the spirit of transparency, I want to say like there are times that I've been wrong, where I'm looking at our predictions from last year, and I'm telling you, like 90% of them or more are correct, but I did get one wrong. I thought Pierre Poilievre was going to win the Canadian election. But I look back and go, but was that my personal longing for change? Was that my fed upness of being a Canadian in a liberal dominated, Canada? I don't know. Was that my personal projection? It could have been. So I also am still learning where I need to take a step back. I don't want to predict politics anymore. Politics or sports. I'm out. I'm out. Politics or sports.
Politics is hard because you're going to annoy somebody.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
deal with this in the United States all the time because our country's been kind of a mess this year. Yeah,
Yeah, but you
use
were
a nice
right.
word.
Susan, even with the one prediction that you said, and you said it December of 2024, you said that Donald Trump and Elon Musk together would not last very long. That Musk did not know how to basically sit down and work with Congress, is what you said, and that he'd be out and that they'd end up on a blow, that it would be an argument on the way out, and that Trump wouldn't do what Musk wanted. You hit the nail on the head with that. You did really good.
This is, I'm glad we did it.
So that was
And
political.
that's
That was
and I always apologize because I say what I see astrologically and what I pick up. And if I'm picking up about something good that's more on the conservative right side, it's going to annoy the people on the left. And if I pick up something good about what's on the left and more liberal side, the right side's going to be mad. So somebody's always mad at me. So I just apologize up front. I'm like you. I get stuff wrong. This is not the voice of God. This is
yeah,
Susan doing the best she can.
yeah,
And I say, I don't mean this politically. I mean it. This is what I see the energy as. But
yeah,
like you, we're always questioning, am I seeing this because part of me is seeping in there?
yeah.
Or how pure is what I'm getting?
Hmm.
And this is what I think every reader struggles with. I don't think this is just you and me. I think
I
every
think
reader
that
is going to look at this.
I think that every one of us who actually does this and is legit, we should be very transparent. Like Susan, I give a 100% money back guarantee on my readings because for me, I can tell if I'm not connecting with a client, and it happens from time to time, right? Whether I'm having a bad day or their energy is too much, I don't know, whatever it is, just not connecting. Oh, you're not wasting a cent. It's 100% money back. Like I know when I can feel a disturbance, you know what I mean? Or the energy is not coming in that clear. And I wish more people would, because I think that humanity would then, if there was better ethics in this line of work, that more people would be open to checking out the spiritual side of things, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh,
I wish more of us would be more ethical with things like that.
I agree. It's our industry, for want of a better word to call it, is slightly below used car salesmen and shady mechanics. It's and sadly, I have run into people whose ethics and integrity I was not particularly impressed with, who don't know what I do for a living. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, are you kidding me with this? So I totally get it. And years ago, a friend of mine who was a reader, still is, as a matter of fact, we started an organization in the United States here in North Carolina called Council of Esoteric Professionals to
Oh,
promote ethics, integrity.
Nice.
Like you would know that these people are legitimate and they're
Yeah.
going to charge you appropriately and not say, give me $2,000 and I'll remove the curse that's on you or something nutsy like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty much of a crap show. You sort of, it's a crapshoot. And
Yeah.
I've had readings that have changed my life. And
Hmm.
I've had readings that,
Yeah.
well, just say we're the opposite, something like that. This is kind of funny. I look at this, but our friends and I were on vacation years and years ago at the beach. And we're driving down the road and we see a house with a sign out front that says psychic readings. We're like, oh, yeah, let's do that. So we drive in, and this was so long ago, the readings were only $20 each. So we drive into the driveway and she says, have a seat. And, she's going to read for us together. And she says, I need to hold your $20 to pick up your energy.
Too funny. Well, I'll tell you, there was another prediction that I think it was me that mentioned it, and you picked up the same thing, or I'll have to go back and watch. But, anyways, talking about spirituality in the news and truth coming to the surface, and big hidden things that we don't want to hear coming out now that the US just said yes to the Epstein files, for example. You look at people like Oprah Winfrey, Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra was mentioned quite a few times in those emails. And I just, I again, that's that split of the 3D and 5D timeline. 3D actors, promoting spirituality. And then you got to do the work. We all got to do the work. Like, I think the day and age of gurus is over. No one should be putting anybody on a pedestal or thinking that someone else has all of the answers. Like, even with the readings that I do, I can see it, but I want you to be able to see it. I want you guys to be able to read from the same book of information that I'm receiving it from, because we all can, right? But it doesn't help when there's these 3D actor gurus that have made their fortunes on the backs of people's tears, and cashed in on people's sorrows. And I don't know. I just think
If
that
we
more
were not
more
ethical,
truth
we
is
could make
gonna
a lot of money.
pardon?
That's the sad truth. If we were not ethical and had a strong level of integrity, we could just be making all kinds of money. But I'd rather have my ethics
Yeah, me
intact,
too.
my values intact. I'd rather be able to look myself in the mirror every day.
Yeah, me too.
And so I'm fine if I'm not making the money that I'm not going to mention any other
Yeah,
names, but other people might be making.
I agree. I
It's,
agree.
you have to find somebody you resonate with.
Yeah.
You have to find the right person for you, how they phrase things, how they communicate information. Some people just want the blunt truth, just give it to me. Other people need something that's maybe a little softer,
Hmm.
that's tactful, that's cushioned in a certain way.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own style of working, and we all have our own style of what we need, what we're looking for, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's unreasonable. I'm still waiting for somebody to give me the winning lottery numbers.
There
So,
actually is a way to remote view that. There is a way to do that.
really?
But it's hard.
Have you
It's
ever
really,
done that?
really hard. Yeah. It's pretty hard. But yeah, there's a
Yeah,
protocol to it and everything. The Monroe Institute came up with the protocol on how to do it. So from the Matrix, there actually is a way to do it. It's just really flipping hard. But
it's, don't forget your sense of humor.
yeah.
As we
Totally.
develop spiritually, we may move into some unexplored areas
Mhm.
that are exciting, and you try to tell somebody and they look at you like you've lost your mind. Don't lose your sense of humor, because you have to be able to laugh at yourself as some of these things start to happen. And the more that you start to move forward spiritually, the more weird things are going to happen.
Yes.
just
Yes.
just letting you know, your life can become very woo woo before you know it, kind of thing. I'm going to back up for a minute, because right now we're at the beginning of December.
Hmm.
And right here at the very beginning, the first week, just a few days in, on December 4th, we're going to have our full moon. So
Mm.
this is just a few days away. And we get a full moon when the sun and the moon are opposite each other. and the light of the sun lights up the moon, which is why we see that full moon in the sky when we look up there. And this is my own personal astrology according to Susan. I always think Leos and Cancers experience the full moon and the new moon a little more intensely than the other signs, because the moon is the ruling planet for Cancer and the sun is the ruling planet for Leo. And so their ruling planets are being affected. But in the month of December, we have the sun in Sagittarius. And I love Sag energy. I just love it. But if you know a Sagittarius, chances are you have seen them put their foot in their mouth at least once, and sometimes a lot more than once. Sag is very outspoken, but they have such a good heart. They don't mean it,
Mm-hmm.
and I use this example all the time because a friend of mine who's a Sag hadn't seen me in about a year. And so we just met each other. We were hugging. She said, Susan, you look great. That sweater is lovely on you. It hides those extra 10 pounds like you didn't even gain them. And she would be bewildered if somebody was insulted by this.
Yeah.
In her mind, she is giving you a compliment. Like,
Yeah.
what? They didn't like that? I wasn't supposed to say that? So Sag is sometimes a little bit bewildered. They say it and it just comes flying out of their mouth and they don't realize, no, you shouldn't have said that. Like inside voice, honey, inside voice kind of thing. Sag is about truth. And we will not accept anything that is contrary to the truth we know. So we've got the sun with this big truth over here, and the moon is in Gemini. Gemini is an information sign, so we've got this talking, communicating, sharing ideas, sharing information, facts, figures, meetings. All the paperwork of life is this Gemini energy, and they're fighting each other. So we may see something in our nation, in Canada, in the US, or around the world, where there is some sort of information download or information problem or
Oh.
information that is not communicated clearly or directly, or something going on there. Because when we have a full moon, that's when things come up to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Full moon, think of the fullness. Something has reached its fullness,
Mm-hmm.
so we may see buried things come up to the light. We may see political leaders, business leaders, religious leaders say the quiet part out loud, like,
Mm.
wait a minute, did they just say what I thought they said? Kind of thing. And they're like, ooh, was I supposed to say that? So
Yes.
we may see a lot of things about this kind of information going on this coming week, the first week in December.
Wow.
But it's also very good for certain things,
Mm-hmm.
because Sag is all about communicating a truth. So if you do any kind of public speaking, this is wonderful. If you do any kind of writing, this is fabulous for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do you communicate your message? Through a book, through a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
through, an article, through a speech, through giving a talk someplace, through leading a meeting. Nowadays we have multiple ways of sharing a message all over the place.
You
And
know,
we're going to start to see that this week. You may be on the phone more. If you have a teenager, buy more minutes, because I'm telling you, they're going to be on the phone that first week in December.
it's crazy you say that because one of my very, very dear friends has terminal cancer. And so I was a palliative oncology nurse for 13 years. So death and dying doesn't scare me at all. Like I truly believe that every single one of us should be prepared at any time, for the big yellow bus or for any diagnosis. Like you got to live like you're dying every day. So I try to live by that. So I said to her, I said, you know what? Let's do something great. Let's do something amazing for your funeral. I'm going to do this big, showing the pictures. I'm going to make sure that you got all the music that you want, and if you want everyone to wear white, they'll wear white. You want them to release balloons, and write a message on the balloon. I'm like, we're going to make it happen, right? And on December 4th, which you mentioned that day, we are supposed to be getting together so that she can record a message, her final message. And I said to her, I said, what if you had one final message for humanity? What would it be? What would it be? Let's record that so that your words live beyond space and time. They live on even when you're not here. And that message won't get played until the time. And so it is. It's message beyond space and time.
Wow.
But yeah, it's about
That
recording
is
the message.
absolutely what I mean.
So,
What is your message and how do you want to share it? And you're thinking about your words and your ideas and how you communicate them. So if you struggle to communicate with somebody or to find the right way to language something, this can be a big plus.
mhm,
You write a fabulous speech, you unblock your writer's block and find a way to work with this character. You have the courage to stand up and to give the talk, or to lead the meeting, or to be in charge with about how you are going to communicate something. So it's a good positive energy,
mhm.
but it can be a bit in your face. This may be with somebody who's not sugarcoating anything. You're dating a bum. None of us like him, or her, kind of thing.
Yeah,
You're like, whoa, where did this come from? So, sometimes we're like, well, we don't want to say that. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
yeah.
Stuff may come out that is just kind of takes us aback a little bit.
Mm,
So cut them some slack. It may have slipped out in the wrong way. then and we need to be open to hearing things
yeah.
in a different kind of way. So that's what's going to be going on. I'm really going to say, remember what I've always said, you can start to feel that energy up to 3 days before and up to 3 days after. So
Mhm,
between the whole first week of December is all about messaging.
mhm.
What kind of message are we going to put forward? How do we want to speak? Patricia and I were just talking about this before we started, about the Campbell soup being in the news. The
Yeah,
guy spoke and said something. Said the quiet part out loud. He wasn't supposed to say that.
yeah.
That is so Jupiter. That is so Sagittarius, and then Sagittarius and Gemini fighting is, how do we language this? And he's like, oh crap, what did I do now? There goes his year-end bonus.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that it's going to continue to keep coming out. More people are going to, it's truth coming out. So you're
It's
right.
true.
Whether they want the message out there or not, it's coming out. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to say, sorry, did I cut you off?
No, no, go
You're
ahead.
good? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
The
good.
other thing that I wanted to say before I forget, ironically, is that if you guys have a problem with forgetfulness like I do, you might want to be making lists, because when I tuned into the energy of the mind this month, it was racing. It's going like this, where it's almost like you're laying in bed going, oh, I need to write that on my list. Oh, I got to remember to do that in the morning. And you won't be able to fall asleep until you dump that out, either dump it into your calendar on your phone or keep a list beside you at bed, because lists will be coming to the surface, or things that you need to do that you kind of don't want to forget. Now, my rule to live by is, if it's super important, I will remember it. If it's not, oh well, if I forget, I'm not going to beat myself up over it anymore, but like I used to. But make lists, and it will help you to get through the holiday season, because it's your mind is going to feel like this, because yeah, time is a human construct, right? So everything, including your thoughts, will be speeding up. Yeah.
I agree 100%, because on December 20th, we're going to have a new moon.
Mm.
And this is when both the sun and the moon are in the same sign and they come together like this. They're sitting right next to each other. And they're going to be in the sign of Sagittarius. And so we have more outspokenness. We are going to have more truth coming out. Sometimes it's going to slip out accidentally, like Campbell soup, and sometimes it's going to be in your face, kind of thing. So, but we're going to honor truth. We're going to want that truth, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so it's a time of really looking within and saying, what works for me? I'm not going to lie about this anymore. I'm going to live my authentic life. I'm not going to pretend that I
Mhm.
believe this, or that I'm not who I really am inside. So
Mhm.
it can be very liberating. And I love this as a new moon because it's exciting. We get exciting new ideas. So by the 20th of this month, December, we're going to start looking ahead. What do I want 2026 to look like? What is my truth?
Mhm.
And this sign is very exciting. So you're going to start to look at travel. You're going to start to look at, is my passport updated? Do I have the right visas that I need to go to different countries? And what do I need to do? Should I learn French or whatever it is? It's a very international kind of energy. It is about a broad view of the whole world. So we move out of our little, section of the world, and we start to see things from a much more broad viewpoint, which I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Wow. Well, there's lots to look forward to, Susan. And I thank you, thank you, thank you so much for doing this with me. And I know that it hasn't been easy for you, so I will absolutely keep you in my prayers, and send you some good spiritual support through the ethers to get through this. Because yeah, I think that we've got a lot in December also that we're going to be facing and shifting, moving through. So you know I'm here for you. If you ever need a call, I'm a phone call away. You know that.
Thank
So
you. Back at you.
definitely, definitely give me a call.
I will
Um,
say, I'll tell you this, I think it's kind of funny. And I'm a little stressed these days because I have a lot going on in my life. So literally I could not remember if I said this at the beginning of the show or not. But I know I told Patricia this when she and I were just talking, because usually this is the time where I say, if you want to set up a reading with me, you go to my website, www.exploreastrology.com, and you can book a reading with me. You can also go on there to see your sign of the month and what your sign is going to experience for December, because I put that out there totally free
nice.
as a way to help everybody navigate life. And I've been working on a new website for months with my web company. And totally without consulting me, they just decided to put the website live,
Yeah,
several days ago. And
brutal.
they just informed me after the fact, oh, Susan, we made your website live. And I'm like, what kind of astrologer has their website go live when Mercury is retrograde? I could not believe that they did this.
So did they shut it down?
No, they said, you want us to take it back and put the other one on there? And I said, yes, if you can do that, do that. Because I was going to launch the new website January 1st.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we can do this, but we'd have to charge you. And I'm like, you want to charge me for your mistake?
Yeah.
But you know what? And I know the people watching this understand this. Sometimes you're so overwhelmed with other stuff,
Yeah.
you don't have the energy to fight it. You just, I had to pick my battles, and there wasn't any energy left over for the
But
website.
you know what? Maybe it's everything is in divine timing. So maybe someone who need, that needed to see the new website is going to come across it. That's why I look at it, right? It's the same thing like when a person books a reading with me, because I do unfortunately book out quite far in advance. But here's the thing. You may think you need a reading now, but wait in those 6 months when my next appointment comes up, and you'll see why you needed it in 6 months from now. So that everything is in divine timing. This is where we just have to trust in the nature of this reality and how it shows up. So, yeah.
Patricia and I are busy working on the predictions for 2026.
Mm,
So I hope everybody signs up for this class at the end of December, where it
okay.
gets to be interactive and you get to ask us your questions in real time.
Mhm.
And we start to give everybody a heads up about what you can expect in 26. Because if you think 2025 was a year, just wait, just wait. We are boarding the roller coaster now, and
Oh, wow.
2026 will take off, but I'm excited about it. And I
It
think 26 is going to be easier than 25. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
26.
I have to agree with you on that. It does feel like an easier energy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, with that being said, Susan, thank you again, and thank you everybody out in YouTube land for watching. If you'd like to book an appointment, my website is www.patriciamona.com. And like Susan said, we've got the 31st coming up. I also have a New Year's Day blessing meditation that's going to be happening on January 1st at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So again, that's listed on my website, and I would love, love, love to do a blessing together with you for the new year ahead. So yeah, so thank you. Thank you so much for joining me again. And Susan, where
My
can they
pleasure.
find you? What's the new website?
The name is the same,
Okay,
www.exploreastrology. It's going to look a little different, but it still has all the main features and all the fun stuff. And I've added in a few things. So let
perfect.
me know what you would like to see, because we're still tweaking it.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, well, God bless, my dear, and we will see you on the 31st
See
at
you on the
2
31st.
2 p.m. is it? 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the
Yeah, 2 to
31st.
4 Mountain Standard and 4 to
Okay,
6
perfect.
Eastern Standard.
Perfect. We'll see you then. Bye, everybody. Take care.